Baba's birthday. It's Baba's lunar birthday. What I wanted to talk about initially was Baba's last birthday in Ganeshpuri. I was beginning pregnant with Ian. And that was the time that Baba transferred everything to Nityananda and Chidvilasananda. That was in May of '82. And at that point I was definitely in the background, happily, a little nauseous from the pregnancy. And one of the things that occurred after this big thousands and thousands and thousands of people, that for me it was a really nice experience, nice is not quite the word, is that Dada Yende, an old-time devotee, and his wife had told me to go to their house. They had a cottage, a bungalow, and Baba there was a ceremony where they washed Baba's feet. It's a very common thing. And so Dada Yende called me in, and he had the water from that. And he knew I was expecting, and he gave it to me to drink. And I did. And it was really a blessing. I went to Baba not for discipline, had it. Not for Shakti and wild experiences, had it. Not for chanting and lifestyle. I had a really okay lifestyle, and I have a terrible singing voice, so it was not for chanting. I went to Baba to get the bottom line of life because I knew he had it. And I wanted him to give that to me. And he did. And as obnoxious and as mistaken as I was, I stuck with him, and he thankfully stuck with me. And I held on to his feet, and he taught me. So for Baba's birthday, the best thing I could possibly do is again share what he taught me. We talk about Sahaj Samadhi, walking bliss, and it's all just a wonderful, neat, cool idea. But it's real. It's actual. It exists. And that's what he was teaching me in the back door up to his house after lunch. That's what he wanted for us all the time. I went not to have intermittent experience. I wanted that experience all the time. Not just when I was in the perfect laboratory and was in the great outfit and the fluke happened and I got the experience. I wanted that knowledge all the time. What was it? It was boring into the heart and looking out at the world simultaneously. Boring into the heart and looking out simultaneously. Boring into the heart. Looking out and having a cup of now warm water. boring into the heart, looking out, and joking with Baba. Boring into the heart and looking out and putting my hand on a horse that was in shock. Boring into the heart and looking out and grocery shopping, paying my bills, whatever it was, whatever it is, it's all the time. It's not just one moment, it's always. And what's out here is God. What's in here is God. What's in between is God. Our job is to come to God imminently. And then from that, as we bore in deeper and deeper, we get to God transcendently. We experience it all the time. We're having a fight, and we're boring in, and we're looking out. We're joking and making fun. We're sarcastic. We're boring in, and we're looking out. Whatever we are doing, we're working at our jobs. We're practicing. Whatever. Sahaj Samadhi. It's walking bliss. It's not just intermittent. It's all the time. Go in. And there it is. And then we start to see clearly what everything is. We begin to discern clearly. We understand. We're not differentiatingly crazy. We know. We know. Does that mean we're passive? Hell no. Baba was anything but passive. No. But now we're active in a way that actually is appropriate. Look in, bore in, drive in there. So that even though you're looking out using these things, it doesn't feel like you're looking out of those eyes. It feels like you're looking out from here. And you can assess and then know what to do. That was what I went to Baba for. And he gave it to me because I asked for it, I demanded it, and I knew he had it. He was and is a great, great sitter. All kinds of things were said at the end when Baba, just before Baba left his body, and all kinds of things have been said since he left his body. And Baba, Swami Muktananda, is and was a great, great guru. For me, he never missed. He never let me down, and he didn't gloss things over. He always told me the way it was. Always told me the truth. Didn't always like it, what I needed. And that's what I wanted. Boring in. Keep boring in. And looking out at the world. Bore in. And look out. And it's not so bad in there, is it? No, it's not so bad in there. That's important to remember. Not so bad in there. We can contribute all kinds of things, but we contribute it in a way that's appropriate when we're boring in and looking out. We can discern. We know what action we need to take. Keep going in. Bore in to the heart, not to the head. Bore into the heart. And look out from there. Before Baba left his body, he said to me, if my then husband was going to be a priest, then I'd be unhappy. He was right. He said it. Then husband didn't feel that was a problem. Proceeded after Baba left his body. And I then, he was right. So it isn't always joyous. And so I spent those years boring in and looking out. Sometimes a little shocked by what was out there, but boring in and looking out. And no matter how bad things were, no matter how good things were, boring in, I kept on boring in to the heart and letting go of everything else. Doesn't mean I don't get angry. Doesn't mean I don't get sad. Doesn't mean I don't get hurt. I use the whole spectrum. But our job is to keep boring in. And looking at. And relating with nature from there. And when I mean relating with nature, that means also our thoughts. Our thought forms are nature. Our system is nature. This is nature. Bodies are nature. Our emotions are nature. All of it. Personality is nature. Bore in. Bore in. laboratory, you bore in, and you can shut your eyes. When you leave the laboratory, I think that's called the meditation room. When you leave the laboratory, you just don't, okay, fine, it's all over now. No, you keep where you went. You keep that spot. You keep that anchor. You keep boring in. The activity of boring in doesn't stop. And you function out. Eventually, you don't have to bore in anymore. We rest. So that we rest in the heart and look out. We rest. And relate. And respond. And play. And do our part. So for Baba's birthday, I couldn't offer more than to acknowledge his greatness and what his greatness was, which was that he was a realized being. He knew the true self, and he could share it and communicate that and teach it and transfer it. Move in, bore in, rest, and look out. Rest in there. He always said it was there for everyone. I think I'd say that it's there for everyone who wants it. Not everybody wants it, but it is there. It is available. So, Sakranat Maharaj Ki Jai. I bow and pranam to my Guru.